story when it comes to building a business. To some, it's never an easy task to partake, and to some, they have very good stories of how they started from scratch and built their empires to profitability. And that's the reason why Bizna Kenya and MC Moments have partnered to bring you Biz Talks. Biz Talks. And here we shall be hosting mentors, people who have gone ahead of us, people who have created these empires, people who have also on the verge of creating these particular big businesses. And these lessons will be valuable for you, the business person, for you, the aspiring business person, the entrepreneur, so that at least you can make wise decisions when it comes to building that business. So every Friday at 8 a.m. on all business platforms, that's the Facebook and YouTube channel. Good morning and welcome to Biz Talks. I hope you're keeping well. It's a bit chilly, so you better grab your warm cup of coffee, your cup, whatever, or water, and sit down and enjoy this conversation, because today we're talking about what I call the elephant in the room whenever we talk about businesses and even individuals: access to credit. You know, some research that was done even by the World Bank talks that a lot of SMEs, a lot of even businesses that grow, one of the key challenges they face is access to credit. And a lot of ideas have been buried because they could not get the financing that is there. Now, I know there are a lot of solutions that could be offered there, but for the first time on Biz Talks, actually, we have never had someone come in to talk about access to credit. We have a guest, an amazing guest, and that's none other than Claudine Gakundi from Lipa Later. I like the name already. It's Lipa Later, Badai. Claudine, it's good to see you.
Thank you for having me.
And you're welcome to the show.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so at first, as I told you earlier on, we have to serve you something courtesy of Melvin's. So I want you to flip your cap, and in the meantime, I don't know whether you picked, did you make a choice here or something you want to have?
Yeah, I'll definitely go for hibiscus.
For hibiscus?
Yeah.
That's a cue, because I always find myself taking it here.
Yeah.
So you're the first guest who is going for some. With hot water, I already grabbed one.
Yeah, that's right? Fine.
Okay. So welcome to Biz Talks. Here it's all about matters helping people navigate through, as well get to know about how to go about their businesses. But we haven't had a conversation about finance. Yep. So this will be a very healthy conversation. So where are you watching us from? I need some company. Let me know where you're watching us from, and click on that share button as well, so that we can tell as many people who have been suffering as well that it is time for them to get to those levels. So as they say, don't be greedy, share with the needy, so that at least people can get to know. Claudine, you know, this whole aspect of finance is, what would I say, is what a lot of SMEs that we have had here on the show, is what most of them say, goodness, if I had this money and all those kind of things. And it doesn't just go around in businesses as well, even individually. People will always have, maybe I might end up having a conversation with you after this as well. Yeah. Because, you know, you have as well products that will as well, you know, bring in people and help them up. So anyway, welcome in many other words. So let me start straight on. First question always on Biz Talks, when people ask who Claudine is, who do you say you are?
Well, work-wise, I consider myself an entrepreneur, right? So I love building within organizations, within companies. So building products and seeing grow, help customers, right? And also getting revenue, obviously. Out of work, aspiring golfer, right? I like to hang out with family and friends. Ex-volleyballers and in high school. I think that's the farthest I should go.
No, lovely. That's okay. That's okay. At least there's an entrepreneurship element there, which is what we want to try as much as possible to get out of. As I said again, we just got to know our guest. Please share and let us know where you're watching us from. I need some company. So let's talk about your business first of all, and I would want you to just endear us into the scope of your business and what you do. So Lipa Later, we are a buy now, pay later payment plan. So that essentially allows customers to get consumer items and pay for them in monthly installments. So consumer items such as electronics, furniture, and other things that you would need on a day-to-day or to survive or to improve your lifestyle. And it also helps merchants to increase their sales, because now we offer the payment plan and customers can now come in and pay in monthly installments for the products that they need. Okay. Yes. Lovely. So let me ask this. Do you have specific maybe retailers that you work with, Or is it that you work directly with people and they can go to any retail? I'm just trying to understand this.
So yeah, so we have around a network of 500 retailers in Kenya, Rwanda, and Uganda. We're about to launch in Nigeria as well. So typically we work with the merchants directly and also with customers. So how it would work, maybe to give you a brief of how Lipa Later works, is we are fully tech-enabled company. So the customer goes to lipalater.com. We're about to relaunch our app as well, so they'll be able to access that. So they go to lipalater.com and then fill in their KYC. And then once they fill in, because we've integrated with third parties like Metropole, etc., we're able to pull their credit report. And we also have a credit scoring that we built ourselves through the years that we've been in existence. We're able to give you a credit limit almost instantly. Right.
Wow.
So once you sign up, because of our third-party integrations and credit scoring, we're able to give you a credit limit. So we tell you, Mina, you can go shop at our retail stores, retail partner stores. So people like, we recently partnered with Carrefour, right? So customers can walk into Carrefour and walk out with their items. So this is unlike typical other financial institutions where you have to fill in a form, wait for 2-3 days, get a credit limit, or get money and then go. Right. A unique thing is that when I was telling you we work with retailers directly, is that now we pay the retailer directly. So the customer, we don't pay the customer, we don't give the customer the cash.
It's directly to the retailer.
Exactly. So at that point, we also know what the customer is using the money for, which has been a big problem across, because sometimes you give the customer the money, then they go and use it for something else.
For other things.
So in a nutshell, that's how it works. And then we also have an online marketplace. So the customer can go through the whole process as well through the marketplace.
Okay, lovely. And there's so many questions I would ask based on that, because number one, I think I have seen, there's been discussions. I think I have seen even panel discussions in this country in some of the leading media stations, where we see a lot of people who have benefited from such modes of credit, and others who complain, and even the people who own the credits. I mean, some of them complaining that Kenyans, the words that was used is peculiar. They would be sort of, they just want to take the money and disappear and all those kind of things. And then we'll be talking about those kind of things and challenges. But I just wanted to just understand that what you are doing is that you're shortening the time span that people take to access credit. Because let me just give you a quick story here. Banks, my bank, and I'll not mention it by name so they don't hit me hard.
I'll probably know it.
I go and I just want some cash because there is an item I needed to buy that was on offer, you know? You know when they're on offer, you're going to save big time.
Right.
And so you don't have the money immediately. And so you go there and you're like, give me this cash. You know, at the end of the month, you'll be able to just slash it out from the money that comes in, which is regular. And guess what? The first question they asked me is that, what collateral are you going to give us? Like, goodness, I thought my contracts and all these years of banking regular are enough
they know you
collateral.
in and out.
And I felt this is the story of so many businesses, the story of many individuals as well, who can't access a lot of things. So in a nutshell, is that the solution that you've given, sort of shortening the time span and really making it easy and accessible for people?
Yeah, I think you're spot on that, because one of the biggest problems that was being experienced is how would you say it, access to now those credit facilities in a short time, and also to the people who would not typically be approved in the traditional banking scene, right? So what we did is we looked at, it does not make sense that if you want something, you have to save up, wait for 3 months, 6 months, or you have to be with a bank for 6-8 months for them to give you a facility. So what we did is we made it easier for the customer. So as I was mentioning, we did our algorithms and our credit scoring, machine learning. So we were able to, over the years, predict certain payment behavior, etc., which made it easier for a customer to come in, and we already know the likely pattern that they will and then now, as well as now the credit scoring that I had mentioned, we're able to give you a credit limit immediately, right? So what we do is we take the stress from the customer, and we make sure that we get all the information even before you give us, right? So when you're inputting your KYC, it's just for us to confirm that what the information that we have is the same as yours, and then you walk in and walk out, right?
All right. I love this because I think in a way you've actually answered a little bit of some of the question I wanted to ask you about, how you gauge the credit worthiness of someone.
Right.
And I think I had some nice words like algorithms and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I just want to break it down a little for the people who are watching.
Right.
So there's a minor. Me, I have come. You have never seen me, and I've come to Lipa later.
Yeah.
I say, guys, I need some money. So what are you gonna do? What are the easy? Just take us through the steps.
Yeah. So for us, it's I need a product as opposed to I need a money.
I need a product.
Yes, I need a product in simpler ways.
Yeah.
So number one, you don't have to come to our office.
Yeah.
Right. So that's a good thing.
Yeah.
As I said, you can access us anywhere you are.
Okay.
Right. So you just have to have internet connectivity.
Okay.
If you don't have internet connectivity, as I mentioned, we've partnered with those retailers, so you can go into the stores. They have internet connectivity, and they have agents who can assist you in signing up. Right. So once you fill in your KYC, what typically happens is they use that information to cross-check with ours, and also now give a credit scoring, a credit score. Yeah. Right. That credit score will give you a credit limit. Right. So we'll tell you, minor, you have a credit limit of 100K. Right? So there are a couple of things that we look at without divulging all the trade secrets.
Yeah, of course, don't go there secrets, but just a few.
Yes, so things like income, right? Your income, your expenses, the type of a business that you're in, or if you're employed as well. So your name, etc. Then we cross-check with now other third parties, and then based on that and our credit scoring and machine learning. So for machine learning, it means we look at the past historical facilities we've given out, and we're able now to give a credit limit. Okay. Yeah.
I think that's worthy. I mean, it's something worthwhile in itself. And I can't wait to ask you this question of what's the cutting edge? What would make me sit back and say, there's a bank here, there are all these, there are these guys with apps, let me just use that word.
Right.
And there is Lipa later. What would make me say, let me go to Lipa later?
Yeah.
What's your cutting edge, in other words?
One of the biggest thing is convenience, right? And as we go on, a lot more Kenyans, and also in the other countries that you're in, they love convenience, right? So they love to sit at in the house and get the item from wherever they are, and they don't have to necessarily give an upfront amount, right? So for us, as I said, you can literally walk into a store and walk out with your item, which is, and that might be even the first time we've learned about Lipa later. Okay. You understand? Okay. So for other typical financial institutions, you would have to go maybe to the store and then fill in a form, even if it's online, and then they'll ask you for additional documents like bank statements and M-Pesa statements, and then it will take 24, 48 hours, and then after that you might probably be rejected, right? At the end of the day, right? Yeah. So for us, is the convenience of you get it immediately. And you can also get it from wherever you are, right? So even if you're in Meru, at a Nyuki, you can still access Lipa later. Okay. Yeah.
Let's talk about the range in terms of the amounts that you can offer. We always have people who dream big, and others who just want something simple. They just walked into, let's say, a shop, one of the retailers that you've partnered with, and they were short of maybe like 5 Gs or something. Right. So I just wanted to ask that. What is the range in terms of amounts?
So it's interesting you said 5 Gs. So the minimum is 5,000, maximum 500K.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah, and this is mostly for first-time borrowers. Okay. So then as we grow with you, and as we also pay back on time, you can get access to a larger amount.
Okay. Yeah. So getting your credit scores as you go on, right?
Yes.
Okay, lovely. Okay, I mean, I'm impressed, by the way. I'm impressed at the range. You. I thought it would be something smaller, but hey, you guys, 500 Gs, my goodness. That's a lot of money, and a lot of things can be done. So let's talk about the reception. You said it's 4 years now in the country, right? Yep. How are people receiving this?
So we have a lot of demand, even as it stands, right? So because it was quote unquote one of the first of its kind, right, in Kenya. Yeah. Because as I said, traditional banking, especially, they go and give you the cash, and then you might go and use it somewhere else. Yeah. So we identified a problem, and we saw that people actually want access, especially things like phones and laptops. These days they become necessities,
Absolutely,
right?
absolutely.
You need your phone to connect, you need your phone to work, your
Yeah.
laptop to work more efficiently. Even some things as little as beds,
Yeah.
right? You need to have a good night's sleep so that you
Yeah.
can have a productive day the next day, right? So we looked at how can we focus on that niche, right?
Yeah.
And produce efficient, fast, affordable financing for our customers, right?
Yeah.
And after that, until today, we still have demand trickling in, organic.
Do you have, I know you may not go to the specifics, but do you have like, I know it's been 4 years, there's a lot of time to keep those numbers offhand, but
Right.
like what numbers on average do you think you have served so far?
I've been there since inception, so it's not
So
as
it's not
hard.
bad.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah. So we have around 10,000 active customers at the moment.
Wow.
And then in terms of our ecosystem, we have around 350 to 400K customers.
Wow.
Yep.
That's a huge number. That's a huge number. That means you have you've given out some billions out there.
Yeah.
I like the name of billions. Okay. So I have a question that is quite direct. Are you phasing out the old banking system?
Absolutely. I mean, absolutely. That we are, because as you said, the first thing was for us to look at what are the problems that people are experiencing, especially the underserved. Right?
Yeah.
So we actually kind of built our product in the sense that we're looking at the problem, so what are the solutions to it, right?
Yeah.
And the traditional banking, yes, it did serve a lot of Kenyans.
Yeah.
However, even as people grow, and even these millennials, the Gen Z, you see, they want something faster.
Yeah.
They want something that they can access immediately, and they want to work with organizations that can trust you off the bat.
Yeah.
Right? So I would say yes, but we still do work with banks as well. I'm not saying that we're going to phase them out completely, but we're offering new solutions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Let me just move to the critic side of it. And some people would say, man, these guys are going to kill us. I've just had people who talk a lot about that, you know, and I've even had it on mainstream media. People talk about, these things. And we may not even go to the conversation of regulations that have been whatever proposed, but just the basic element of people saying, you have to hold on your, what's the word they use? Is it gratification? Delayed, something like that, or that
Delayed
sort?
gratification.
But sometimes, and I'm not trying to answer myself, but sometimes, as you said, this is a student who needs to start doing their, let's call it thesis or whatever, studies.
Right.
And they need a laptop. They just don't have the cash now. This is not luxury. I'm just saying, I don't know, what would you say to the critics out there?
Yeah, I think debt has often been framed as something that you shouldn't have.
Yeah.
But we need to change that narrative, because sometimes it's also an indication of your aspirations and ambitions, where you want to be, right?
Yeah.
And for you to actually get there, you have to have some sort of debt, because you can't afford it upfront at that point, right? And you have to keep in mind, even the people that we give the credit facilities, we give them based on, we can see that you can actually pay the amount in monthly installments.
Okay.
You might not be able to pay the full amount,
Okay.
but you're actually comfortable paying monthly installments.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
So we should look at, in the sense that it's not more of a debt to death, right?
Yes.
But it's a debt to improving your lifestyle, increasing your purchasing power, right? Because we need to change the narrative for suffering, right? You don't have to suffer,
You don't
right?
have to suffer.
Especially if you can afford monthly
Yeah.
installments,
Yeah.
you don't have to suffer.
You're right. You're right.
Yeah. So for, like, for example, for laptops for students, etc. So if you don't necessarily have an income as a student, we do allow your parent or your guardian to take it on your behalf.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So that gives access
Okay.
to the students as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
And of course, during this season of, let me call it trying financial times,
Yeah.
some people, they would want, like I said, a parent, maybe it's a child, you would really want to do this, but because of delayed cash and all those kind of things that happen, especially in business. I mean, we have had suppliers who, but let me not go there. I've had people here from county governments who have complained sometimes of how sometimes they delay. It doesn't mean the money's not there, but they will delay for long.
Right.
But you see, there are things that need to keep going on. Life needs to go on as well.
Right.
And as you say it again, there is good debt and there is bad debt. And so you just need to evaluate that, I think, as a person as well. So let me talk about the scatter, because you said it's monthly installments.
Yeah.
Because you've mentioned that So is this something that you discuss with the people or who are seeking this credit, or is it, locked that you have to pay within this particular amount of time? How does it go?
It's very flexible.
Yeah.
So, and we make sure that we give the customer as much information as we can before they take the facility.
Yeah.
So you can pay up to 12 months, right? But we give the customer 3, 6, 9, 12 months. And we're also launching a 6-week program for especially smaller amounts, right?
Yeah.
And smaller cut sizes. So the customer has the option of paying within 3, 6, 9, 12 months.
Okay.
Yes.
That's flexible enough.
Yes. But you'd find, interestingly enough, most people prefer the 12-month option. Yeah.
Even the guys of 5Gs.
And another misconception, right, is people usually think people take debt or people take Lipa later, let's speak in specific, because they're broke, right? Yeah. There's sometimes people take for cash flow management, right?
That's true.
Because you'd rather maybe get a phone and pay comfortable 5,000, 3,000 a month, as opposed to splashing 100K or 110K just off the bat. I mean, you can use that other money to maybe pay for your children's school fees or do something else, emergency fund, etc.
You're right.
So it's not necessarily that you're broke all the time.
Yeah.
You just want to manage your cash flows.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. You know, some of these things are getting personal to me. So that's why I'm taking a pause and thinking through. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's talk about the risks involved. As I said, Kenyans sometimes can be Kenyans. Not all of them. Please don't fight me today. So what are some of the risks in your business? And I'm sure you have been dealing with a few things here and there.
Yeah. I mean, the biggest risk is lack of repayment, right, in the business from the customers. However, what we do is we make sure that even before we approve you, we get to know you, right? Even though like you're just doing it online, right? We get to have your information. We get to understand your patterns, etc. For us to be able to say, okay, fine, we're confident enough to give minor a loan, right? Sorry, I don't like using the word loans because people are scared of loans. A facility, right? Or to get a product, right? Yes. So we get to know you first. And then, as you mentioned, also our credit scoring built through the time also gives us a lot of insight on you as a customer. Yeah. And then after that, we also have a team that manages your account and that you can call to restructure if you need, because we understand these things happen, right? But sometimes we also have to be lenient, right? So you can call us and tell us, I'm going to have a delay, etc. Then you can restructure your facility and can be able to now continue payment and then access more credit, right?
Yeah, I'm going to ask this question as well. I can see it. So I want, like, let's say 100 Gs from you. Right. And I've given access to whatever information that you may need. Do I need that word collateral to bring to you?
Absolutely not. So, as I said, phasing out the traditional banking, right? Okay. So, no, you don't need any collateral or security for you to access. As I said, ours is walk in, walk out. In 3 minutes, you get your product, right? So, we don't need your title deed.
Okay, so we have to advise people so that at least they can always go to Lipa later and, keep benefiting in this mode of really access to credit. Right. How do you, in your opinion, build a good credit score so that, as you interact with Lipa later, I mean, tomorrow, months to come, I mean, Lipa later has confidence that this is a good customer who never defaults or something of that sort and has a good credit score. Because now we have used very nice words, credit score, and I want everybody to understand it. Yeah. It's very big abroad. I don't know about here, but you will help us on that. Yeah.
It's largely based on your patterns of repayment, right? So if you do show signs of good and timely repayment, you're likely to access more financing or more facilities, right? However, it's also largely dependent on, again, your income and your expenses. So the number of things that that it entails. However, it's number one, your repayment history, as well as your income versus expenses based on what you want to get.
Wow, lovely. That's a tip for you, how to build your own credit score. Now, today we are talking to Claudine Gakundi, the Lipa Later country manager right here in Kenya. Not just in Kenya, Rwanda, Uganda, and
Soon Nigeria.
Soon Nigeria. Hey, Nigeria is a big market as well.
We're ready.
And we're talking about real access to credit. Once in a while, I'm sure you've been into that place where you're like, oh my goodness, I just missed just 5 Gs to get this product. And you have to wait for long for that. Why wait while you can get access to this? And, you know, sending your questions to Claudine. She's here to answer them all. And then we will be seeing whether you can benefit out of it. So let's talk about COVID. And your observation now, since it was within the 4 years, that's when COVID popped in.
Right.
What was the observation, by the way? Did clients really clamor for some cash, or was it just no more? What was the observation in your business?
I think COVID affected almost all businesses, if not all, right? So we had negative and positive, right? So positive in terms of there are more customers who are now appreciating the fact of managing their cash flows, because it was not given that you're going to get maybe your next salary, etc. As well as down the negative, right? There's still funding that we need to serve the demand. We also can't approve as many people as we'd like because, again, there are financial constraints that they have because of COVID, etc.
Wow. Okay. There's so many comments here and questions. Let me just read a few, then we shall continue on with the conversation.
Go ahead.
Ruth Wajiro watching, great, thanks a lot. And Ruth is asking, how do you deal with non-payment issues? I think we will address that. Let's first of all read the comments. There's a Micah Karaoke, great deal. Geoffrey Alemba, always there, following, thanks a lot. Hey, there's the question of interest is many. I can see so many people, so we've got to tackle that. Be prepared for this, Claudine. I'm coming.
We're ready.
So, Geoffrey, oh, I own a Mac product, courtesy of Lipa later. Oh, that's nice. Okay.
Thank you,
there are people,
Geoffrey.
there are testimonials right here. And he says as well that he loves your customer service. Points taken there. Good work where you are.
Thank
you,
so
Geoffrey. Let's address Brian. On matters interest, since actually that was a question I wanted to ask. Yeah.
So we are one of the most affordable across the financial institutions and stroke competitors.
Okay.
So ours is 4.2%.
You said
4.2%.
Whoa.
Yeah, per month.
Okay.
Yeah, 4.2% per month.
Yes.
And if you're to compare with other financial institutions like ours, it would be probably 5, 7 to 10%. Even some go as far as 30% per month.
Oh no.
So we looked at what's an affordable amount that we can give, or rate that we can give our customers, and most of our customers settled on that as well. Right? Yeah. Wow. So it's 4.2%.
That's lovely. That's lovely. I like the competition element of it.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's talk about the landscape in general, because as I said earlier, there are quite a number that we have seen people who sometimes are even now fearful of, oh, okay, this guy's popping up here, left, right, and center, apps especially. And I think when there was a summoning of digital lenders, you could tell there were quite a number.
Right.
And so, of course, you've spoken about, I can already see your unique proposition in terms of, you know, your percentages of interest and all those kind of things. Do you see them as competition, or this is just business?
Who, like the mobile money lenders?
Yes.
Well, we'd consider them indirect competitors because, number one, with the mobile money lenders, in terms of the amount that people can access, at first time, it's probably going to start at 2,000, then you graduate 3,000, then by the time you're old, that's when you can get maybe 40,000, 50. So for us, we approve you based on your capacity in our credit scoring. So we approve you for the maximum amount you can qualify for. So we'd say minor, you actually qualify for 100K, which means you can shop for what you can that does not go above 100K. Okay. Right.
Let's hope after this conversation I'll qualify for the $500,000. So let's talk about the challenges you face in this industry. I know you mentioned one or two, and even from the questions there. But generally, are there other things that you see and you're like, oh my goodness?
It's still that notion of debt. All debt is bad. Right, and again, don't like using the word debts, loans, etc. Like all facilities are bad, and we're trying to change that, right? Letting people know that's okay to take things in monthly installments. You can manage your cash flows. There's no need of you breaking a bank or saving for 9-10 months for you to get your necessity or what you need, right? So just educating the customer on good debt.
So the people who are watching right now, I want us to try a little bit and educate them here.
Yes.
That we have good debt. You know, I don't know. I'm putting you on the spot.
No
What can
problem.
you tell them? What can you tell them that this is not just all doom and gloom?
Even one of the reasons as to why we decided to focus on now the product is
Yeah.
because we are also responsible to the consumer and for the consumer,
Yeah.
right? So we can't just give you money and then say, okay, fine, go and use it wherever you want to use it. So we
You're
tell you,
right.
give us your specific need,
Yeah.
right? And most of the products that people usually buy are needs, right? Not necessarily wants, right? That's why
Yeah.
we decided to focus on the same.
You're right.
Right?
Yeah.
So I would also urge them to get as much information from the financial institutions that they're getting from. As Jeffrey had mentioned, we have good Lipa customer service, so
Yeah.
you can call us, right?
Yeah.
We can give you advice on the amounts you qualify for, your monthly installments, if you'll be comfortable doing it, right?
Yeah.
You can also reduce the credit limit that you want. We're not necessarily telling you to take the whole amount,
Yeah.
right? Another thing we do is we give you options of paying a deposit if you want to, right?
Okay.
So we'll tell you, okay, pay 30% if you want, because we offer 100% financing.
Okay.
And then you'll now pay maybe on the 70%. That's what you'll pay
Yeah,
interest
because
on.
probably you'll be having some money.
Right.
thrown out.
If
So
you
you
do
can
have
deposit
money,
it.
exactly,
Yeah.
that means you'll be paying less interest on
Yeah.
now the amount that's left for the
Okay.
product.
Okay.
Yeah.
Makes a lot of sense. What's your take on this? I would like to hear your opinions on this, guys. So feel free to do that. So there you have it. It's not all bad. Sometimes everybody gets into a fix. I have personally been into that, and now I know Lipa later. We'll be talking about more of this. So let's talk about the future of Lipa later. What are you seeing in the horizon?
Yeah, so one of the things is we want to be to reach a lot more people,
Yeah.
right? And that's why we're even pivoting towards being online to see. So we want to geographically reach more people.
Yeah.
So that's why we're expanding into Rwanda, Uganda, Nigeria, and a lot more countries moving forward. So that's one of the things that we're looking forward to,
Yeah.
as well as empowering more merchants.
Okay.
Right? So empowering more merchants and giving them Lipa later as a payment option,
Yeah.
so that they can be able to give a value add to their customers
Yeah.
and also increase their sales. Right?
Okay, okay.
Because we realize there are a lot of merchants, especially who are offline, they don't have any online presence.
Yeah.
So that's why I was talking about our marketplace,
Yeah.
right? So we just aggregate all the merchants onto there, and the customer can now go to the marketplace and see all the products that our customers have, our merchants have, and they can check out. Again,
Yeah.
3-minute process, check out and get their item immediately.
By the way, I love the fact that you're addressing needs. It's not just giving money anyhow.
Right.
Like what other people do. And I think that's a very nice cutting edge, because some people just borrow money for the sake of it. They don't even have a plan of what they're doing.
Yeah.
Somebody who's buying an item or something already knows and has figured out what
Yes.
they really want to do.
Yes.
By the way, what do people buy most?
So a majority is phones.
Oh.
Right, smartphones, because you'd find now people moving from feature phones or kabambes,
Yeah,
right,
right,
to
yeah.
smartphones, as well as laptops, right. That's a majority.
Yeah.
However, we still have the TVs, cookers,
Yeah.
home theaters. Especially when COVID came, right,
Yeah.
people had to stay in their houses, so they're like,
That's
this
when
couch,
they realized I don't have
this
anything.
couch is really bad, so let me replace it. Yeah, so
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
But majority would be smartphones. That's our bulk.
Okay. You actually have very interesting data.
Yeah.
I mean, people would be able to tell what people buy most, but anyway, phones is actually something to talk about. Now, let me move on to you as a person.
Right.
And we just want to get to know you a little bit more. But let me see. Several comments as well coming through. Please share them. Keep them coming. Today we have a lot of viewers as well. I think people want to get some credit. But keep them coming. I will be asking these particular questions as they come. So, so I want to talk about you now. You're a lady in this fintech world. Very few ladies are there. I just wanted to know, how is it, just being a female leader in this particular field?
It has its ups and downs,
Yeah.
but I'm grateful to have a company and people that I work with that support women empowerment. So that has been one of our biggest help and advantage at Lipa later.
Yeah.
Because majority of the people who are even in management are women at Lipa later.
Wow.
So that environment has really helped and also cushioned any negative things that usually come as you go. However, I've seen an improvement because now for the past 4 years since inception, sometimes people are looking at you like, what are you coming to tell me? Especially you're young, and then you're, on top of that, you are a female. What are you telling me? But there's been a significant improvement, and I applaud like people who are embracing women and seeing the value that they can bring into organizations and the economy as a whole.
Yeah, you're right.
Right.
Okay, let's talk about, actually you just mentioned that, you have a group of people that you work with. That means you have some staff members.
Right.
How many are there?
About 40.
40?
Yeah.
That's a big number. That's the one you say with stress.
Yeah.
Like 40?
40 in-house. However, we also do have agents in the partner stores that are mentioned, like Carrefour.
Yeah.
To help customers.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Wow. So we're going to get to learn, today you're here on the spot, so we'll get to learn a little bit more, because a lot of the people who actually watch this show as well are entrepreneurs in business.
Right.
And it would be nice to, sharpen one another, because leadership cuts across. So how is it for you managing people? Are there some 1 or 2 lessons you could share that you feel are important when you're managing people, because 40 is actually a big number.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There are a couple. I mean, one of them is, number one, autonomy, right? You have to give your team space to think, to work, right? To think about their own ideas, how they want to implement it, etc. Within reason, of course, right? And within the organizational visions and goals.
Yeah.
We also do a lot of brainstorming, which I see most companies don't, right? So sit down with a team, right? And just don't expect, because you're a manager, or give me answers, or do this, do that, right? Sit down with your team, because you understand more of the company visions and goals, as opposed to more than the people who you're managing.
Yeah.
So sit down with the team, brainstorm, and say, okay, this is the problem that we're experiencing. Let's think about it all together, right? And then let's implement it, right?
Okay.
As well as communication, right? Communication is very important in terms of from the very beginning, right?
Yeah.
Communicate what needs to be done, right? And check up as you go.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, being a leader at the top,
right,
and young, it's not easy. Let's agree on that. I mean, it's not easy because, we have this notion, you don't have some gray hair popping up or something of that sort, then you're not supposed to be up there. It has been a culture.
Right.
But, over time we have seen, especially in the fintech world, because of the creativity that comes along with young people and all those kind of things, a lot of them taking up these things. Someone may be watching you and saying, wow, country manager, how,
Yeah.
What's the secret?
So that's interesting. Actually, as I told you, I joined the company when it was starting.
Just
right?
starting, yes.
So I applied as a finance intern, because I majored in finance and I was doing Strathmore, right? Then when I got in, right, because it's a startup, so it means that you're doing almost everything, right? Because we were probably 3 or 4, right? So you're the social media manager, you're the one who's going to partners, but you're still finance intern, right? So as it went, as time went by, I found myself gravitating towards business development, right? So I saw me making products and then revenue coming from it, and more so even serving customers and seeing customers' happy faces, right? Made me happy, right? So I gravitated towards that. So then now I got business development, right? So which is still an extension of country manager, because now I run the revenue generating departments like sales, marketing, business development, partner success, etc.
And I love that you sort of grew with it. I mean, from 3 staff members.
But you definitely have to be aggressive, right? That's one of the biggest things that you have to do. You have to be aggressive and resilient, because there's a lot of ups and downs, and a lot of people doubting you, right? So you have to show up and prove them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. So, by the way, the name Lipa later,
right,
which is very easy to understand,
right? Yeah.
Did you guys just come up with it, or
There's still a lot of debate within the company as to who came up with the name, but I like to believe it's me. But we sort of brainstormed again. We brainstormed and then we said, okay, because we brainstormed, then we said, write the name you think about it in a paper, and then now we chose Lipa later.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, we're still back to you now. Let's talk about some of the, values as a leader that you hold dear to.
Right.
That, other people you believe should as well maybe borrow from, Yeah. Could you share some?
For me, as I said, one of the biggest is resilience, right? So you have to be resilient in all that you do, right? However, it's good sometimes to take a break, right? So, it's not that you're always running or on 100 24/7, right? But one of the biggest is being resilient, being aggressive, right? Believing in what you do, because that's very important. For example, myself, I've taken so many items at Lipa later, so I have to actually believe what I do for me to sell to the customer.
No, at least you have to be your own testimony. Okay. Lovely lessons there. So let me get to some of the questions and then we can get to our close. So Ruth, how do you deal with non-payment issues? Oh my goodness, this is a thorny thing.
Yeah, for non-payment issues. So as I mentioned, we have a team of
someone has taken a TV and a lippy.
So we have a team of we call them a collection team. Right, so they're responsible for reminding you and guiding you as well, and telling you your installment is due. However, we also do have automated messages going to you, just reminding you before even your installment is due.
And that happens to everybody. I mean, even in these major banks, if you take even 10 bob.
Right. And then in terms of non-repayment, again, that's a risk that is there. However, we do encourage our customers to make the payment because we show them the value of making repayments to access more good credit, as we had mentioned, right? So we just make sure as much as possible to talk to the customer and make them understand the value of repaying. However, if they can't pay it, again, we can restructure your facility.
Okay.
So,
All right, there you go. Let's talk about skills. Actually, somebody even asked that question, that what skills would you advise that I have to get to where you are? But anyway, just share some of the skills needed. Let's call it to be a successful leader, as you've said. I'm sure 4 years is enough to actually know, and growing from a staff of 3 to the 14 we're talking about, and even others indirect, there must be some skills that you have seen. These ones are very important and needed.
Yeah, I feel like my skills are also borderline values, right?
Yes.
So they mash. So
you're right.
Yeah. But apart from the ones that I mentioned of, you also have to do a lot of research, because people undermine research, right? You have to be constantly reading and understanding what's going on in the world and also outside, right? Like our other competitors who are not necessarily in Kenya, even in Africa, because in terms of technology, they are one of the first people, but we also want to catch up, etc. So a lot of research you have to have and also do. I think in a nutshell.
Okay. Yeah. Lovely. Thanks for that question. So sort of like a quick fire as we come to the end. Right. Advice for younger generations behind you who may want to join the financial industry,
right,
and who may just want, in whatever they are, whatever they're doing, want to grow to the levels that you are at.
Right. So for myself, I'll speak for myself. So
absolutely.
In my what worked for me, right? Joining a startup really worked for me, right? Because I got to understand the ins and outs, and that's why I say I consider myself as an intrapreneur, right? So I got to understand this is how all departments work, like what needs to happen for you to build a successful company, right? The ups and downs, etc. Well, not quote unquote, not necessarily using my money, right? So because I get to build and grow things and see them benefiting customers and also attracting revenue, right? So that startup environment, and most people actually shy away from that. So most people usually look at big banks, or they want to go, now they're talking about financial institutions, they want to go and work at big banks from the very beginning, but so they don't get to understand about building and expanding your mind, right, and growing. And
even believing in startups.
Exactly. So they just go to the bank, maybe stay in the same position for 10 years, right? And doing the same thing.
You're right.
right? So for me, every day has been different for me at the start, even till today. I do different things.
That's a very important skill, especially to the younger generation that we're talking about, that be willing to, it's sort of like take risks.
Yes.
Get into this upcoming companies, startups, grow with them, and be patient as well. There's a
Right, yeah,
patience
you have
level
to be
with that,
patient,
is it?
for sure.
Be patient with the growth.
Yeah.
Don't just look and wait until you are in these huge companies.
Right.
I mean, there's also room for a lot of MSMEs, SMEs as well that can grow with you and grow your career as well. And you have the best example right here.
Yeah.
Okay, personal legacy that you want to leave behind, and then we close with how people can access you.
Yeah, I'll give a very millennial answer, and I've usually told my friends a lot. So, usually, the way Beyonce is known as the music industry.
Absolutely.
So for me, I'd like to be known as now in the business industry, like the Beyonce of the business industry. As again, it's a very millennial answer, but it's the only way I can just direct it and explain it, right?
Yeah.
So for me, yes, that's what I would want to leave in terms of. Yeah, business.
And you're already getting there.
Yeah.
I can already see the fact that you're here on B Stocks, first finance person to talk about matters access to credit. This is amazing.
Yeah.
So let's talk about access in terms of how do people again reach you. I know you said it, but it is important for someone who may have just tuned in.
Sure.
How do people reach Lipa later?
So our website is our main point of reaching. So lipalater.com.
Yeah.
So I think they will have the name there. So just Lipa later.
Yeah.
So I mean paylater.com.
Yeah.
So they can access us from there. We have all the details that they need.
Yeah.
So the contacts, email addresses, and the sign up.
Yeah.
Because our product is basically contactless. So you can just sign up and walk in, walk out without even having to talk to someone in the office.
You're right.
Yeah.
Let me just read a comment here from Najma Hamida. It's always a pleasure to have you. She's a top fan. Being aggressive and resilient is key to any business. If you desire to grow, somebody's taking notes. Good stuff there. So guys, we have come to the end of the conversation, just enabling dignified credit. And you have Claudine from Lipa later. You guys are on social media as well, is it?
Yes, all handles Lipa later.
Lipa later. Just
Lipa later,
find
yeah.
out.
Yeah,
Yes,
for
is
KE, it's Lipa later KE.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, even in Uganda, you call that way.
So there's Lipa later UG. Yeah,
Okay.
but yeah, because yes, Uganda still understands. So
They understand. They get.
Yeah, yeah.
I like that. Maybe we're the trendsetters here, right here.
Yeah.
So I would want you to look straight at that camera and give a parting shot to anybody who's watching. I don't have a formula of how it's gonna be. I know there are business people watching, young people watching, many other people watching. All these guys who are already streamed online. What will be your parting shot?
I'd like for people to not shy away from credit, because as we had mentioned, it's not necessarily all credit is bad credit, right? So do your research, get to understand, and we as Lipa Later are here for us to answer your questions. So just shy away from thinking that it's something that you shouldn't have, right? Think about the goals, the aspirations, the ambitions that you want, and how we can help you live a better life.
There you have it. My goodness.
Yeah.
Very lovely about enabling dignified credit. What I love most about you, I must say, is that you are addressing a need. It's not about just take the money, do whatever you may want. So it's not careless way of just giving and dishing out money and then shaming people, as we have seen some people do, where you're...
Yeah, we don't ask for your mother's contacts.
Yes, and the pastor and everybody else and the village gets to know, oops, you borrowed some 2K or something of that sort,
right.
But you're addressing a need that people really need to do. And how best than to have a dignified way of getting the cash. Now, before we end, I have to just tell a few people about some of our products here. We have amazing things actually from Peptang. And by the way,
I like the sweet corn a lot.
Oh, you like it?
Yeah, I like the
Good
sweet
stuff.
corn, yeah.
Yeah, you know, Peptang said they want to get into everybody's table, either from morning to evening. They must have something, and it's amazing. They just launched an amazing dawa. Oh, I'll tell the CEO to bring it here because I gave it out as a gift. An amazing dawa product, so you don't have to go boil stuff and all those kind of things, the gingers and all those things.
That's nice.
So it's just an easy direct to go. Then we have another SME here. They're called Azavi Fruits. If you go to Naivas, you can get as many, even dried pineapples, crisps, mangoes, all those kind of things. And it's amazing. Of course, our favorite tea, courtesy of Melvin's. Do you see how the packaging looks?
Fantastic.
Nice, African, absolutely, right? Great. And if you really want to have something as well here on our shelf, always reach out to us and we will have that conversation. So guys, that brings us to the end of B Stokes today. and we appreciate your company. Remember, Lipa later. Go find them there. And oh, I almost forgot to give a shout out. You see how I am well dressed and looking nice?
Yeah.
Is it Kenya?
Very.
We call it Buy Kenya, Build Kenya.
Yeah.
And this is courtesy of Spot On Apparels. So thank you so much for partnering with us. Asante sana. Keep working. Bye bye.